Hello and good morning.
It's afternoon.
Oh, afternoon then. I guess you're right, it is 12:24. Well, good afternoon then. I'm Dana.
I'm Dallas.
And we are
Double D's Dish in the Dirt.
Oh yeah.
Okay, today's dirt is relationships. Okay, I have a question.
I love questions.
Have you ever been cheated on?
Yes, I did. Yes, I have.
Sorry. You did?
Yes.
Have you been the cheater?
No, I would never. I'm too pure and honest for that.
She's lying.
But yeah, I have, unfortunately. And it was the same ex that I told you about, but I didn't sort of put two and two together until too late, which, again, happens in a lot of people's stories, so I'm not the only one.
Okay, my next question is...
Sorry, that was my water bottle for anybody out there listening and wondering what that was.
Okay, the next question is emotional cheating. Is it cheating?
I feel like it is. It's... In what way are you talking about emotional cheating?
Just in general.
Like looking at other people and letting you know, or...
Emotional cheating is described as excessive time and attention, sharing secrets and intimate details, emotional validation, secrecy, lack of intimacy, and fantasies.
Ooh.
So...
I love that you went dictionary on me.
Yes. Have you ever been emotionally cheated on?
I would say it's more emotional manipulation. At the same time, it was like, I just felt left out of most of, I guess, the decision making in a relationship, which sort of forced me into like a different bubble.
Yeah.
So again, like, I don't know if it was necessarily emotional cheating as it was like the whole kit and caboodle of it was an emotional manipulation and isolation. So
I broke up with somebody for emotional cheating on me.
Oh my God, spill. What?
So in high school, I had a boyfriend, and we'd hang out sometimes, but every day after school, he would walk this girl to her car, and like they were seen laughing and talking, and it got like spilled towards me, and I was like, well, if you have more fun with her, then what are we doing? I broke up with him and he got with her.
So it all just lined up. That's ridiculous.
Tragic.
It is tragic. First of all, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
It's fine.
Also, just why? Some people, I'm just so confused. When you're in a stable relationship, why does the, I guess, pull, like, what is it, actually? Should be a better question. What is that pull to get away from the relationship you're currently in? Is it, like, the secrecy behind it that just tugs at you, that you're like, yeah, I need to do that. I need to feel what this feels. And how do you validate that also?
I feel like reading, like, cheating stories on Reddit, a lot of it is coworkers. I think that there is a lot of emotional cheating going on with coworkers. But even then, it's not necessarily having an emotional affair. But like, if you're telling your coworkers things you wouldn't tell your partner, little sus.
Yeah. That is, I guess you could definitely say that.
Not the word phrase Dana would use, clearly.
That's interesting, though, that you're saying coworkers. I wonder how often that does happen to people if you're saying that Reddit, at least, is showcasing a lot more of those stories.
I guess it depends on the work environment, too.
That's true.
Because the one Reddit story I read, there's only 3 people on this guy's work team, and one of them is a girl.
So you're basically forced in a daily basis to interact with one female and all these males on a daily basis, and you're telling me a team of only 3?
Well, 4, including that man. But
I'm sorry. I take that back. 4. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, in a lot of circumstances, workplaces can be very cliquey, and you are isolated into those sort of, you have to navigate that realm of that and then find intermixed relationships and sort of latch onto that. So maybe that can happen that way. But I think you're right. When you only have a small group of people that you work with on a daily basis, like, of course you're going to have some feelings for people, but that's only because you're working in a close-knit sort of day-to-day. But whether you approach that as that is different. I feel like you have to have boundaries, and a lot of people just forget about it.
Okay, well, we were just chatting about different sex relationships. Can you cheat emotionally with somebody of the opposite sex if you're not attracted to them sexually?
I feel like, yeah.
I feel like that happens a lot with romances.
I was going to say, plus it's also romanticized in romance novels and like those adult books.
In case you guys are curious of what Dana's reading right now. It's definitely smut.
Am I in an adult smut book club? Yes, I am. And I think it's very healthy and natural.
Do you think that if you had a partner, they would consider that cheating?
Reading adult smut?
Yes.
I think it's way more has to do with like individual likes and dislikes, and I wouldn't call that cheating. I
not cheating necessarily, but having a emotional affair, because
no, I would say that's
especially
more
if it's like not stuff that you do. Does that make sense?
Within the couple.
Yes.
Again, I still wouldn't. I mean, it's kind of like a form. I don't want to say it's like a form of masturbation, but I mean,
but she did.
But I did, and you know what? I'm proud of it, because when I go into a book, I'm fully entranced in that book. Does that mean that I'm like, oh my God, yeah, get it on? Like, no, it's more like I'm looking at these characters and I'm happy for these characters. But I could say that the same about any other novel that I read away from smut books. Like, I want to be fully entranced in that novel, and I love that book, and that author does a great job of getting in those details, but I wouldn't call it emotional cheating at all.
Okay. So I have a Reddit story. It's the guy with the 3 people on his work team. And one of them is a girl. So he worked at this place way before they got into this relationship. And it's new. It's a new relationship. And he used to flirt with this coworker, but then she looks through his messages all the time.
Oh. And he does not know that.
I think he knows.
Okay.
He said that he doesn't text her. It's proven that he does not text her except for work. Okay, so they've been dating for 4 months, and it's been rocky. She has they have relationship problems, but she has some mental things going on as well.
Okay.
So they went to Florida, and he told his coworker that he didn't tell his boss who he was going with because he didn't feel comfortable in the relationship. And because it says that she has threatened to break up with him already.
Mm-hmm.
So he just said that he feels rocky. And the coworker said, you should just tell him that you're going to Florida with a colleague or a new lady in your life because you want to see how things work. And he was like, I try to pretend like I have it together. And she was like, oh, I appreciate that there's some messiness in your life. And she broke up with him with this like flirting interaction that they had. Do you think she was blowing things out of proportion?
I feel like she was already going through something personally. Like, we all have mental health issues in the grand scheme of things, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to feel ashamed for it. But when you're bringing it into the relationship and you can't open up to that person or share with that person what you're going through, sometimes, in many cases, it just affects that relationship. For him, clearly, he was, not comfortable enough or stable enough in this relationship to even share with his coworkers or boss that he was in this relationship and going away with this person. I don't know. What do you think?
She's also not a girl's girl. Can I say this?
Oh,
she explicitly says that she knows for a fact he would never physically cheat on her and that this girl's not attractive.
Okay, definitely not a growth
And this
girl.
is a girl that he's been working with for 2 years. And they've never done anything outside of work together. Never gotten lunch during work. Never had any kind of relationship aside from what she deemed was flirting through text.
Oh, girl, okay. I mean,
And she said that he apologizes. And that he texts screenshots right away when a girl texts him.
take screenshots right away? What is this?
And then sends them to her.
What is this person?
So I think that I don't think that it's a good relationship.
I don't think it's healthy in the slightest bit. No, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
That's all I had on the word. What about you?
I don't know. I would say a lot of times, if we're going back to rocky relationships and taking screenshots of things, I would say a lot of times relationships just become unhealthy because either a lack of communication or a lack of boundaries. And I'm using these, not trigger words, I would say, but these big accumulated words for the sake of it happens so often. It happens really so often.
I think it's not always on purpose.
It's not. It sort of just manifests that way. I don't know. For some people that I'm around on a daily basis and I see their relationship grow, and become something more than just, we're going out so on and like we're going on to 2 months and we're getting coffee and we're thinking about things. I always ask, I'm like, hey, how's everything going, with your other relationships? Is it affecting those relationships?
Right.
How is it going with that? Because sometimes you just surround yourself in one big bubble and then you're not expressing yourself more frequently in other places. And I think what I'm getting at is a lot of people look at a relationship and they become obsessed with that person and it's their entire lifeline.
Right.
Which has happened to me, ladies. It is okay.
It happens to everybody. You feel that relationship is part of you and it's more important than self-care.
Yeah. And as much as I'm going to say, like, hey, it does happen. Like, it's not unhealthy to think that person could be your be-all, end-all. Where it staggers and differentiates is when you're not actually interacting with other people. You're not having those check-ins.
Yeah.
And you're not interacting with your friends. And again, not to say that people can't change, but one person should not be your entire bubble.
No. And especially if that person is taking over your own personal bubble. Because we talk a lot about emotional cheating, but you deserve to have those friends that you're close with outside of your relationship. Because if something does happen to this relationship, you're by yourself then.
Yeah, and nobody wants to feel by themselves, but also you do have friends. Like you have people that love and care about you and you can lean on. Do I say like, hey, do you have that person where you can share every bit and piece of this relationship with? That is your choice. That is completely your choice. Whether you want to talk about, your sexual relationship or your fantasies in that nature or that regard, that is completely up to you. A lot of people are just confident that way. And, power to you. Like, confidence is great, but you should also feel comfortable in your own skin in your own way. I don't know. When it comes to the word toxic.
Yeah.
That is one of I use that term frequently. I shouldn't. I should not. But never do I really go into it where I'm like, toxic relationships.
Yeah, what are they and how can you identify them?
Yeah. Yeah. We use that term so flippantly now. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it has to do with toxic culture, toxic atmosphere, toxic, workplaces. But when we say toxic relationship, are we labeling it for two people? I mean, if we're just talking about,
I feel like in a toxic relationship, somebody always has the upper hand. So it's not always, it's toxic for both both people. Mm-hmm. But one of them is, I don't want to say aggressor, but they're in control.
Yeah.
And I think the word associating with toxic is communication.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'd agree with that, with the fact that it's associated with that. I don't know. When I look at a toxic relationship, I think there's an obvious lack of communication. I think you're right that there normally is a person that they want the other to hurt.
Yes.
I really hope, again, we're going that fine line of like emotional abuse and
emotional
like,
affair. Yeah.
Yep, an emotional affair. But how does a person get out of that? How does a person realize that it is a toxic relationship?
I think it's hard. And especially if it's like we're saying you're isolated from other friends, even coworkers, because those will be the people who help identify and pull you out of that.
Yeah. It's almost like you need your own check-in. Like,
yes.
If we could all just look in a mirror and say, I'm a badass person. I do great things.
They're called therapists.
Oh. I guess you're right. You know what? That's very healthy. But also,
also a taboo topic.
If you also just want to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a badass person. I know what I'm doing. I know I deserve love. I know I can give love. That is also just a really good check-in for yourself.
I feel like that's really hard to do as somebody who would struggle with that.
Okay. What is a good check-in for you? For people that may not be like, I can do my own check-in and feel confident walking away from that. What's a good way for you? Do you think journaling is healthy?
Yeah.
Do you think like having an outlook basically or a hobby to express yourself maybe more substantial?
I know a lot of people use apps that require you to check in and like evaluate how you're feeling. Like Finch, you like take care of a little bird by doing self-care.
Wait,
and, like,
I've never heard of this.
Oh my God. Yeah. So
tell me more.
Yes,
That sounds like fun.
So it's an app and you get this bird and you can pick its color and its name and everything. And then like you can set requirements for yourself, like do laundry or affirmations. And like the more you do, the more developed the bird becomes.
That is so amazing. I wish I knew about this app earlier.
Yeah. Also, a good check-in is friendships. I know we're talking about it for yourself, but having somebody you can turn into and have them tell you that you need to have a moment and tell you what you do well, helps a lot.
Hey, I'm all about that praise culture. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I know it's different for everybody, but when somebody tells me you are doing a good job and you are crushing it, it makes me feel so empowered. I feel like I could conquer the rest of the day.
Yeah. I think that surrounding yourself with people is definitely one of the most important. And it's not always easy.
Yeah, for sure. I feel in that regard as well. Like, when people are in a friend group or they're in, when they're in a friend group and they don't feel like they can share or be themselves.
Right.
You know what? I feel like is the friend group missing it on purpose? Like, are they seeing what we're seeing and they're ignoring it, or could it just genuinely be going unnoticed?
Yeah, I think that's where self-advocacy comes into play.
Like, word.
Tell your friends what you need. Don't be afraid. They're your friends. They should be there for you.
And if they're not, that's a good check-in for yourself.
Reality check.
Seriously, you should be surrounded by people who are going to uplift you, and you can uplift them. It's a give and take relationship at the same time.
I think that our next conversation should definitely be about boundaries. I feel like you have a lot on that topic.
I love boundaries.
There's a lot of people of where we work, and Dana is definitely a communicator and very trustworthy. So people turn towards her for a lot. So
yeah. And you know what? although I love boundaries and I feel like I have good relationship boundaries.
She's not good at it.
I am not good at work-life relationship boundaries, let me tell you.
But I think that would be a good topic. And that comes into toxic relationships as well.
Yeah. So I think as we end up, end this first podcast talking about, relationships, we had a good point about emotional cheating. Just know that you are not alone. And there are so many people out there that are sharing the same either, life worries, relationship concerns, and are probably still seeking out, comfort for themselves elsewhere.
Yeah, looking for resources. But we love you.
We love you.
And that's the end.
That's the end. Catch us next time.
Bye.